Hey everyone, this is Fulton from Lute Air Student Radio. This is my music room for December 1st, 2020. First, I'd like to start this video by doing a land acknowledgement for the Snohomish, Skagit, and Clallam peoples, which I reside upon their land. They are the Aboriginal land keepers and the most important people, and their connection to the land that I have colonized is greatly severed. Anyways, first, some CDs. Stevie Wonder, Talking Book, considered like one of the first of his classic era, essential Stevie Wonder. It's one of the only albums of his I've really gotten into. But yeah, it's wonderful. You know, it has like the hits, you know, Superstition, You Are the Sunshine of My Life. But, you know, You've Got It Bad Girl, You and I, Maybe Your Baby. And then you read the credits of the album and then you realize Stevie Wonder is actually someone who's not just a pop star, but someone who is extremely talented. Up next, Public Enemy takes a nation of a million to hold us back. Essential rap, hip hop, whatever album. You know, it's extremely relevant right now. If you read the lyrics, I've gained insight into something that I can not fathom or understand through my own experience as someone who's white. What Chuck D and crew are saying here is something bigger than me and most of the music I consume. Some great rhymes. I recommend, let's see, Night of the Living Basshead, Louder Than a Bomb, and then of course you have like Bring the Noise, Don't Believe the Hype, Rebel Without a Pause, Prophets of Rage, like classic, essential Public Enemy songs. And even the person who had this before me, I don't know if you can see that, but there's like dots of like the most popular songs off the album. It's pretty funny. Yesterday morning, I woke up and then just automatically played Channel Orange by Frank Ocean. I found this at a thrift store. Pretty funny. But yeah, once again, essential music. This one's really hitting hard. If you know Frank Ocean, you know his lyrics, but doing all right. Yeah, it's, you know, in my opinion, Channel Orange is definitely one of his best albums. That and Nostalgia Ultra, even though it's considered a mixtape. One thing I like to point out on this album is like it's kind of like Stevie Wonder with all the harmonies and the vocals, but Stevie's in a whole different vocal range. But Frank, he's just going off. He is bringing something new to the table every song, and then like the little interludes between songs are like, you know, they're skits and stuff, kind of like what you would expect on the Public Enemy album. But they're a lot more cohesive and they fit to the overall theme of the album. Anyways, onto vinyl. I pulled this, but I haven't listened to it. Probably gonna listen to it in a few hours. Rage Against the Machine's The Battle of Los Angeles. Classic, you know, I've just been on a grind. I'm a little fed up about things, I guess. But yeah, classic metal album, rock, whatever you want to call it, funk. It's got Testify, Sleeping on the Fire. Those are probably the two most popular songs on it that you would know. But yeah, formative album in my younger years, definitely. Grew up listening to it. And I'm getting a little punky here. Shame, Songs of Praise. I saw this group back in 2018. Yeah, 2018, fall of my senior year. Went with my good friend Max Dodd and his former partner. Yeah, I saw them at the Crocodiles movie. But yeah, this is just like British post-punk. It feels a lot more rocky compared to bands like Idols and Fontaines DC. It's a lot more poppy. They even self-proclaimed that the song One Rizla is a pop song. But it feels a lot more poppy, especially with the drumming. But the thing about this album is it really struck a chord with my high school self, and the lyrics really reflect that. It just reflects like my emergence into the world, I think. Trying to become who I am today, even though that person's not completely me, I'd say. But yeah, you know, one thing I like to point out is like the lyrics, they can get a little corny at times. It's my dad, he's a smoker. And then, I'd just like to say, like, the songs itself, like, the structures are super tight and organized, and there's, like, no room for, I'd say, no room for improvisation. It's, like, improvisation in the aspect of, like, musical education. I'm not really know where I'm going, but like it's just so tight and structured that there's chaos going on, and the band wants you to feel chaotic. It just really moves something else in me. Up next, I pulled Brutalism by Idols. They're part of that group of British bands like Shame. So yeah, you know, another one to check out is Fontaine's DC. But yeah, this album, it strikes a chord with me. Very great topics being discussed on this album. Just like Shame. Shame's a lot more personal. And I feel this album's a lot more raw, but like a mature kind of raw. You know, like, you know, 30-year-olds thinking about things, because that's who Idols are. But you have songs like Heal, Mother, 1049 Gotho, Stendhal Syndrome, Rachel Koo, Benzocaine. Like, they're discussing things that are more, you know, lyrically, it's just, I'd say it's more grown up and adult. But overall, a really great album. A lot more hard-hitting and bone-breaking than Shame. So I definitely recommend this if you want to try to understand that really popular post-punk sound that's coming out of Britain right now. It's been coming out for the last, you know, over 5 years at least. You know, a lot of these bands are on similar record labels in the similar area. So what originally sparked all this was Tool's Undertow. This album still sounds fresh as heck. It's over 20 years old, almost. It'll be 20 years old, actually 30 years old. 30 years old in 2023. But yeah, this is a repressing from like 2006. It sounds alright. The panning feels weird. It's definitely one you gotta listen to on CD. But yeah, this is like an essential alternative metal album. I believe I've talked about it on here before, but it put alt metal into the mainstream. And this has the same raw emotion that you experience on Shame's album. You know, these guys are kind of around the age of Idols, but what they're talking about definitely feels more Shame-esque and kind of skin crawling, especially when you get the songs like Prison Sex. And let's see, another one. I would say Bottom. Bottom and Prison Sex really make my skin crawl if I just really sit down and listen to the lyrics. First one's about, you know, sexual abuse. I don't know, it's just an essential album for anyone. It kind of defines this band as people who have embraced prog rock. But prog in the sense of like just being progressive and doing new things. I like to reference Miles Davis on that. And, you know, it's like, you're always changing, you're always growing, you always want to do something new with your music. You're not trying to stay and be the same person. Anyways, in that vein, some jazzy rock. Steely Dan, Katie lied. It was Black Friday. I listened to it on Black Friday. You know, it's my first time really listening to the album. I'm going completely physical, guys. I am disregarding streaming services. So I bought it. But yeah, I'd really like to point out Dr. Wu. That's a good one. And then Chain Lightning, and then Any World, Throwback the Little Ones. Side 2 is really powerful. Lyrics really had me thinking. And, you know, I was like, oh, it's Steely Dan, I can test out the dynamics of my new turntable. Then I did some reading, and I guess Becker and Fagan were just really disappointed with how the album turned out sonically. But yeah, nevertheless, a good Steely Dan album. You know, I'm still getting into them more and more, and I listen to it when I can. So up next, I have one to test my new turntable. It's newish. Got a Technics SL 1900, and I just installed my Orthophone Red cartridge on. But a great album to test it. Cut at half speed. Modern Johnny Sings. Songs in the age of vibe. Theo Katzman. Absolutely marvelous sounding album. Marvelous album all around. Never thought this album would hit hard, but it has been. But yeah, you know, Theo is all about the he's about this strange balance between lightness and darkness. I recommend listening to the podcast The Third Story of Leo Sidran with Theo Katzman. He explains it all. But yeah, it's, you know, all songs are written by Theo Katzman according to the back. It's completely powerful. You know, it feels kind of, you know, lyrics can be kind of corny, but that's what he's going for. It's intentional, it's smart, it's nostalgic, checkmass.media.plu. I don't know if there's a .edu on there, but there'll be an article soon about Theo Katzman and Johnny Man. That's from my cohort, Felix Alberson. Johnny Man. Anyways, more Steely Dan. Gaucho. It's make things perfect, guys, and do it in the middle of a record dispute. Yeah, so Steely Dan, Gaucho, 1980. Essential Steely Dan album. Got this on vinyl. From what I can tell, it's a first pressing because Keith Jarrett is not attributed in the credits. There's a whole lawsuit to search up behind that on anonymous track Gaucho. What can I say about this album? It's good. It's solid. Personally, as I get more into Steely Dan, I'm starting to realize each album is its own thing. It's really special. Even though they came out so fast, Becker and Fagen were just on a tear, I guess. But yeah, this album, it just it kind of defines yacht rock, and starts what it is. And that's all I've listened to this last week. I'm about to sneeze. You wanna watch? That was it. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to Fulton's Music Room on Laser Lute Air Student Radio. Be sure to follow our Instagram, Laser Radio, our Spotify, it's Laser Radio as well. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share this video with your friends, your family, your acquaintances, and anyone you think who would enjoy it, honestly. But yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful week. I know finals are soon for my fellow PLU friends. Stay healthy, love yourself. I don't want to get off this soapbox, but I have to, so.